Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Cool Colas here to bring you the hustler's perspective. I hope everybody is having a good day today. I have a cool topic for you guys here. I know I say that in like every single video, but this one actually is really cool because it's something that I think is important and it's something that's hardly ever talked about. And I think if it was talked about a little bit more, then there would be a lot more successful people because this topic revolves around something that I think everyone to a certain extent experiences that doesn't even necessarily just involve hustling, but is really anything in life. And I think that it's time that we talk about this on the hustler's perspective. And the reason why is because I think that it will give somebody's insight on something that they may not understand is going on in their life or going on with themselves that they haven't necessarily come to grips with. So let me tell you what I'm going to talk to you all about. I want to talk to you all about why understanding yourself is essential to being successful. So you're probably wondering why I chose such a kind of a broad topic, but you'll later find out that it's not so broad, but it's very common. So the first thing I think is that there are too many people who are walking around not being real with themselves or who they are. So when I say not being real with themselves, they're not being realistic with the person who they are, and a lot of times they try to resist that person. In other words, they're trying to be something that they know that they're not. And a lot of people like to associate that with a younger person issue, but it's not just a younger person issue. I think it happens pretty much in any age range. It just happens on different levels. So I'll give you kind of a further example here. I think that some people hide who they are because of acceptance, and I think that they need to let that go. I think that people tend to care more about what the people who are close to them think, and not necessarily anyone who is kind of like on the outside, like anybody who is an acquaintance. I don't think that. I think you get to a certain point in your life and you don't care at all about that. But I think there's too many people walking around who even care about what, people who are close to them, like, family, friends, people like the extended family, people like that, what they think. And they need to let that go, because at the end of the day, what I'm starting to see as a trend is that a lot of people who are giving that type of criticism and saying, oh, this is not going to work, that's not going to work, you'll never be successful at doing this and that, are people who are family and are people who are even friends. I'm going to say friends because people who are like downing you for that type of stuff because they think they're being real are not really your friends. They're just hating, and they have this image of what they feel is what happened for them, and they put that on you as if you're going to have that same destiny, which is not fair, and again shows that they're not really your friend. I also want to encourage those who don't understand themselves to begin this process of understanding themselves, because it'll be vital to you through the rest of your life. Basically, not avoiding who you are. So, if you remember last week, I did a video on the book Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, and I wanted to kind of comment on something that I read and I may have talked about in the video last week. I heard, or more so read, in his book something about him telling people that they need to follow what's in their DNA. And what I got from that was that they need to be authentic by being themselves and not trying to be like anybody else. So in your heart who you are, and you need to follow that no matter what anybody else has to say about you, because there's nothing that can really be taken away from you that that someone can't really hold over your head because of the fact that you're being real with yourself. At the end of the day, you're not losing your dignity because of the fact that you're doing something that you don't truly believe in. So, in Gary's book, I think what he was trying to explain was that you cannot be like anybody else. You can't be like him. You all can't even necessarily be like me. You may be similar, but you can't be just like me. We'll never have the same path. You have to always be yourself no matter what, in every situation. And I think what tends to happen now is there's a lot of people who are going around saying, oh, well, I have to get this job and this and that. And that's fine, and that has nothing to do with your real identity, because essentially you're appealing to that job so that you can be professional in order to get it. It's not your company, it's not your business, so you can only do so much. So it's their rules. But we're talking about every day, especially when you have your business, especially when you have a hustle, especially when you're trying to brand yourself and you have a certain identity. You cannot be like anybody else, because if you do, you will not be successful. I can guarantee that. So let me tell you about some of the things that I think, and are the reasons why I feel people don't really, or what I think that people would get out of understanding themselves. I should rephrase that. I'm going to talk about the ways that I think people would understand themselves, or what they would get from understanding themselves better, and how that can help them to be more successful. So the first thing I want to talk to you all about is the fact that it allows you to focus on the things that are important and to filter out all the nonsense. So I think that you should take it upon yourself to learn how to say yes and to learn how to say no. So when you see an opportunity that you know is for yourself, or could be good for you, or it can help you in your ventures going forward, you say yes to those things and you don't think about anything else. You need to say yes to the things that may not even come around again. And you need to learn how to say no to things that are against the things that are going towards your goals. I know you may want to help out your friend, or help out your mom, or help out your dad, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But if you have something else in your mind and your heart and on your schedule that comes first, you need to follow that. And you need to learn how to say no and not feel guilty about saying no. And the reason why is because you cannot hold yourself back doing things that don't pertain to your goals, because your mindset should be totally on reaching that goal, especially if you have not reached it yet. And by focusing on those other things that are kind of outside of that, it will drain you and it won't put you any further. It becomes a waste of time at a certain point. Now, I'm not saying like just be like the most selfish person in the world, but give yourself the time and the respect that you owe yourself to only devote your basically time and your energy to things that are going to better you and things that are going to make you more successful in the long run. You don't want to focus on those things that are a bunch of nonsense, because they just waste time that you could be spending furthering yourself in maybe your hustle, or maybe you have a certain skill that you like doing and you want to learn more about it. It takes time away from that, because you could be learning more about it, or you could be reading up on something related to, I don't know, social media, basically like getting out the information about your hustle, but instead you're doing something silly like, just giving you an example, moving a dresser for person A, and then they don't pay you, you don't get anything from it. Now, mind you, I mean, like, again, I'm not saying be selfish, and I'm not saying don't help out people from time to time, but if it falls in the way of something that you have planned for yourself and trying to get your goals together, or trying to be successful, or trying to reach a certain goal that you have, do not let that thing stop you from doing that. Because if it's important to you, you need to continue to follow it. The second thing that I think that that understanding yourself would do is it will help you, and how it would make you more successful is it will help you to understand your strengths and your weaknesses better and focus on your strengths. Now, the reason why you're probably looking at me all crazy right now, because I know most of y'all are looking at me crazy, is with the statement that I just made, most of y'all have been taught backwards. Most of y'all think, well, if I have weaknesses, shouldn't I improve them? Why would I just improve my strengths when I'm just weak and I suck at this and that? The thing about it is that not everybody is going to be a Renaissance man or woman. In other words, you have things that you're good at and you have things that you're not good at. So why spend so much time focusing on things that you're not good at to try to become somewhat better at it, when you can focus on the things that you're already good at and become great at it? Because those are the things that single-handedly will be your passions, and that you can monetize, and that you will excel in better than you feel you will do than anyone else. And with that being said, focusing on your weaknesses will, especially if you don't really enjoy it, is something that you won't be successful in the long run, because you're spending so much time trying to balance yourself out that you're not realizing the unique side of your skill set and your personality. I hate that term skill set, but you get what I'm saying. The I guess, the superiority of your skills and enhancing them. So to me, I feel like you'll be wasting time because you'll be spending it on like the things that you're not good at, because obviously if you're not good at them and you're discouraged by how not good you are at them, chances are you probably don't like it very much because of how discouraged you've become, meaning you won't be passionate about it. But things that you're good at, you're going to be passionate about it. So why not continue to be as good as you possibly can, to the point where you can revolutionize everything that you want to do successfully and possibly revolutionize the world, changing it in a way that has never been seen before. So why not continue to work on your strengths? The thing about balance is people have been teaching you, especially in school, especially your parents, have been teaching you to be balanced, because when you work for someone, they want you to believe that multitasking is a good thing. So by being a well-balanced person, you're going to be able to deal with all of the, I call it hoopla, but if you want to say task, you can say task. All the tasks that you're going to be faced with, and you want to be able to deal with them and do a couple things at a time, because that's the requirement of the job. So again, that is a very job-like mindset. That is not the same as being good at one thing, focusing on that one thing, and then monetizing the heck out of that one thing that you just became great at. And then the thing is that any true business owner or entrepreneur knows that the best way to be successful, especially if you're not good at one particular thing, is to get somebody else who can be good at it. Excuse me. So, sorry, my allergies are acting up a little bit. But, so, for example, if you are not good, if you're an artist and you want to go into, I guess, like, do an art business, like maybe you want to do a business where, like, you're, I don't know, drawing pictures on magazines or whatever it is. I'm just giving an example. And let's say that you're great at the art, you're great at trying to get a good image out, but you don't have the business tactics for people to view your stuff and to get exposed to the things that you can do. And if you know that you're not good and you're not business savvy, you need to get somebody who can help you out in that way and will be good with that tactic. Now, if you want to learn on your own, more power to you. But again, if your skill is art and that's the thing that you're like really great at, and you've never been good at business, you never really like that side, learning it is not going to necessarily change the fact that you may or may not like it. It could, but chances are it won't. If your thing is art, become great at art. Don't focus on your weaknesses. You're not trying to be a balanced person who can deal with a bunch of crap that a job throws at you because of the fact that they want you to multitask, because they're just trying to figure themselves out. You want to become the best person you can at what you were good at. Now, or the couple things that you're good at, and then monetize those things, and then be great and make it your passion. That's just my advice on that. The third thing that I would say here is your passion and talent will show when you're being yourself. So this is something that I'm sure a lot of you all have noticed, especially about my videos, especially about me, Cool Colas, as a person, and especially about just my mannerisms. One thing you've noticed is that I will mess up in a video. I will stumble. I will say a word wrong. I will say stuff like, earlier I said, excuse me, I have allergies and they're kind of acting up, so it's kind of hurting my voice because I coughed. I will do things like that. And I'm not afraid to show that on video, because you all know that I am human. I am not on YouTube trying to front like I'm somebody else who I'm not. I'm not trying to make this image that I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect. I'm always continuing to learn. I'm always continuing to develop the person who I am. I do understand who I am, but I'm always continuing to develop the person who I am. So that doesn't mean that I know everything. It just means that I understand myself. Now, with that being said, I have nothing to hide about any of the issues that I have. So that's why I don't feel the need to edit my videos and say, oh, I messed up here. I said this word wrong, or I said this word kind of strangely, or I didn't like the way that this came out, or I stumbled, or I said too many ums and likes. Because best believe I did have someone come up to me before and say, oh, I counted 3 or 4 times where you said in your videos and this and that. And mind you, if all you can do is look at my video and count how many times I say or I say like, chances are you're probably not listening to my video too well. and you don't really need to be watching it. And frankly, that's not going to matter to me one way or another, because the people who are interested in what I have to say and the things that I do on here and everything like that, they're going to continue to watch it regardless if I'm saying and like, because the truth be told, I'm not going to edit those things out, because I want you all to know the real me. That's why I'm Cool Colas, because I consider myself a cool person. I'm a cool person because I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I'm just trying to be Cool Colas. I'm not trying to, again, I'm not trying to be an Instagram star. I'm not trying to be somebody who is, well, I mean, of course I want to be popular, but, you know, because I want all of you all to see what I have to say, but I'm not trying to be this perfect Instagram star who never makes an error in their videos, who never does things and has bloopers and things like that, or even tries to fake my bloopers if I have them. That's just not me. That will never be me. So, again, what you see is what you get with me. So, I think that, and I don't mean to get off topic, I just kind of wanted to bring that up because that's something that I've been kind of thinking about and I wanted to express to you guys. I think that your passion and your talent will show when you are just being who you want to be. The thing is that you are a unique person, and people will see that as long as you are yourself. They won't say, "Oh, you're kind of like this person or that person." You're your own you. So I think that the thing about it is that, like, you'll be the most happy when you are being yourself, because it won't feel forced. It won't feel memorized. It won't feel like, oh, I forgot my lines. It won't feel like that. It feels like you're going to be authentically speaking to your audience and how you would speak to a friend or even somebody who you know in random conversation. So it would be like you're having a conversation with somebody rather than like just speaking at them. And I feel like I'm having a conversation with you guys. Even if you guys aren't responding back, even if I'm not sure if you guys are listening, it feels like a conversation. And I'm sure that a lot of you all are getting that vibe from me. So again, I think that the biggest thing that you can do is show how talented you are as a person authentically, because your passion is going to show, especially if it's something that you like doing, especially if it's something that you feel as though shows the best representation of you. So to me, you're going to be great at something as long as you're just being yourself. That's just what it is. The fourth one is when you understand yourself, you don't waste time. In other words, I think that a lot of people tend to waste a lot of time trying to just do things for the moment until the right opportunity comes up. Well, I have news. The right opportunity is never just going to come. You have to get out there and you have to take that opportunity. So whether that means creating it or whether that means just getting out of there and going for something that you always wanted to go for. So when I say don't waste time, I say it from experience. And here's why I say from my personal experience, I've wasted time. When I was in school, and even now, and I even notice it because of the conversations that I have with people, especially people who have even known me for like 10 plus years or even 5 plus years. They say the same thing. They say, "Hey, Nick, how's the chemical engineering life? Hey, Nick, how's the life of an engineer?" And then some of them are totally off. Some of them are like, "Hey, Nick, you're an engineer now. I bet you can fix a car." So, being an engineer must be cool. I'm not mad at them, because you know that when I was in school, my major was chemical engineering. That's what you know. But I was not being in tune, like, with who I was, because I was wasting time trying to meet this level of professionalism that I thought, I guess, would be a part of me. What I've been noticing is when the mindset I have now and when I went to school is totally different. When I went into school, I thought nothing of business. I thought nothing of hustling. I thought nothing of just the idea of innovating, creating something for myself. The stuff that I did blog-wise, the stuff I did video-wise, I thought those were all potential hobbies. As a matter of fact, I would even go to say all the way before senior year in college, this wasn't even a thought in my mind. So I'll take it a step back. The things that I do writing-wise, the things that I do comic-wise, the other adventures that I have, like, going forward, the short stories that I do, those things were just hobbies in my mind maybe 5 years ago. So, and a little bit going forward. With that being said, I was in the mindset that I would go to school, I would get in this major that with this particular subject that I was good at, and then I would get a job, and then I would start making money. From there, I don't know where I would go. That was my mindset, and that's me being real with me and myself, and that's me understanding that I was wasting time. I was wasting time because essentially I thought that I would kind of just go with the flow, that my life would just happen and then I would just be dealing with it. So life would be controlling me, but I wasn't controlling my life. I was thinking that by going into chemical engineering, I was going into it because it would land me a good job because I was good at that skill, which was chemistry. I was good at chemistry. What I later learned was that I wasn't so great at chemical engineering. I was tenacious enough to get through the program. I was stubborn enough to keep going even when I knew I wasn't good. And I was very, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Not even headstrong, but very determined to finish. And I was very continuous about trying to just get through the program because I knew that I had the tenacity, like I said, to finish the job. But what I wasn't being true, especially to my own self about, was the fact that I knew that in my heart, my true passion is writing and speaking even. And those are the things that I'm good at and that I'm passionate about and that I, at the end of the day, would be a success with. So in other words, although I considered it as a hobby, I look at it differently now, talking about writing and all the other stuff. Now I look at it as a potential business and a hustle because it's something that I've always been passionate about. What I mean by I was wasting time is I was wasting my time saying, oh, career this, career that, with chemical engineering and this and that. And then I was resisting what was in my DNA. I was resisting the fact that I needed to be doing something with all these things that I was creating. I mean, I created a whole comic book series, and I'm in the process of creating another comic book series. And then on top of that, too, I was still writing stories. And I actually wrote a book that I actually plan on getting published. Stay tuned because there's going to be a lot more of that stuff as well, too. Cool Colas is multi-talented, I'll tell you guys. But anyway, going back, so my point is that I wasted a lot of time because I was saying all this stuff about professionalism when it was kind of in a box for me. And that box was that I was limited to that because that was my major when I was in school, and I'm going to do something with it because I went to college these 4 years because the standard was that I go to college, get a good education, get a degree, then get a job. But then, like I said, what I later learned was that I wasted a lot of time because my true talent, my true passion, the things that I always cared the most about were in writing. And nobody else really understood that except maybe a select few people. So when I say don't waste time, what I mean is if there's something in your DNA and it's sitting there, even if you think of it as a hobby right now, even if you say, oh, it ain't much, don't ignore that. That is a sign. It's a sign that's telling you that you need to pay attention to that and that one day could be the passion that makes you the happiest that you will ever be in your life. Do not listen to things and just do things because they seem right. Because what happens is things that seem right aren't necessarily related to the vibes that we get in our hearts and the ones that we sometimes don't listen to because we don't think it's going to be realistic. And like I said, I think when it comes down to it, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact of how a lot of us were raised. We're raised by our parents who want to see us do well in the world. Some of them, because some of them don't really care. Some of them are just kind of just want you out the crib. But anyway, my point is that for those who want to see you successful, they look to what's job-wise, what will make the most money, which has absolutely nothing to do with success. It could potentially be something that has to do with someone's success, but it doesn't necessarily equate to success. So in other words, they see that science and technology are the things that are the most innovative in the world. So things such as engineering, things such as being a doctor, things such as being an occupational therapist, things such as being a dentist, those things are professions that people are basically successful in. So your parents had that image for you going in. So they said, well, we'll just send you to school. You just pay off those loans later because that cool job that you're going to get, in that major that you participated in, that you took up while you were in college. It's going to get you a good job, or you'll be able to just knock that right off. And a lot of them were wrong, because it didn't really work like that. So I guess my point here is, we were taught that way, so we were conditioned to believe that this whole little, I guess, idea or hobby that we had, or things that we kind of did on the side, it was just only something that we would do on the side. But really, we should have looked at it in the reverse, because right now that's how I look at my life. For chemical engineering, if a job would come, if an opportunity would present itself, then I would take it. But I would take it because it's something that I see as something I would do on the side, because chemical engineering is a small part of me, because it's something that I struggled to get, but ended up getting through my tenacity, which had everything to do with my tenacity, but could still be to good use. The problem is that it's almost like an 80-20. I was treating chemical engineering like it was 80 and writing like it's 20, and it should have been the reverse. And from now on, it's going to be the reverse, and I promise you that. So I think that when it comes down to it, you should not waste time on things that you feel are not who you are, or not entirely who you are, and focus on the things that, this inkling that you get that's telling you that it's you. Didn't mean to babble on there, but I just got a little bit personal, and it's just something that kind of spoke to me. The last point I want to give you all is, you need to give everyone a piece or a sample of the true essence that is you, and show your human side, which is good, and show something new to the world. That's why understanding yourself is important, and will help you be successful, because it can do that for you. It can show a person, this new person, or show the world this new personality who's out here, this new guy or girl who has something to provide to the world, has something to show by experience, or like basically tells like their story, or creates something that's really cool. It puts a new face into existence, and a new figure into existence, especially somebody who's very passionate. So as long as you're yourself, you're creating yourself as an icon that people see. Some people like, some people may not like. But the point is that you're an icon regardless, and people know who you are. So, I guess my point here is that by being yourself and going out there and hustling and doing you, being the same you, people are seeing what you have to bring to the table, and they're seeing what it is about you that is great, and what about you is going to be unique and could revolutionize the world. Think about it. None of us knew, and I get it. Recently he's been involved in kind of like some bad stuff. We never knew who Travis Kalanick was. If you don't know who that is, he's the CEO, or used to be the CEO of Uber. So again, a lot of people don't really even know that now, but they know more because they heard about like all the stuff that he did. But hey, again, even if it was negative, that's a part of his DNA, and he was showing you who he really is. So when all of you all saw that videotape of him arguing with that guy in the Uber cab, you saw who he really was. You saw what he was about. So that was him telling you negatively who he was, but it was still him telling you who he was. Or for example, you watch basketball, and you see how good of a basketball player, and mind you, I'm not really a basketball guy, but I'm not really a fan of who LeBron James is. You know who he is because he's such a good basketball player. He has something unique to bring to the table. He's like, multi-talented, like as far as like, being on the court. So again, like you kind of know that from what he brought to the table. So again, he was being himself, showing that he was a good basketball player. A lot of people see him as arrogant. I personally see him as a little bit arrogant, but again, that's his personality, and you know that about him. Especially if you're someone who doesn't like LeBron James. Or just giving you, I'm trying to think of another good example. Mark Zuckerberg, who made Facebook. You see his face now because Facebook was so popular. And Facebook is something that everybody uses. So everybody knows who Mark Zuckerberg is because of the fact that he's the face on Facebook. That he has a certain personality and aura to himself that shows the type of person he was in order for him to even create something such as that. So again, like you just got to think about the individual that you are, and presenting that to other people and becoming an icon that can influence people. So that's really what it's all about, and that's why understanding yourself is important. it will make you the most successful, because being authentic is the easiest way for your passion to speak for itself. It's the bottom line. But anyway, I know that was a mouthful. I wanted to get all that out. I know that it was a little rough in parts because you were like, oh man, he has a lot to say, but he was here and then he was there. But again, like I kind of like still mapped out good points for you guys to kind of think about, as far as like, you know, you're being yourself and being authentic and just not caring about what other people think, so you can be yourself more. So again, I hope you guys took away something really great away from this, but I wanted to just speak to you all about it for, you know, just for, you know, a little bit over half an hour. But anyway, so I hope you guys, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys want to see more that I have to say in the future, then feel free to subscribe to this channel. I would love if you guys did that right now. And then if you guys want to see more from my Facebook page for this video, then you can go to the Hustler's Perspective YouTube channel. If you would like to see my blog, because I have a lot of great content on there as well too, you can go to hustlersjackpot.com. If you want to go to my Facebook page for my blog, you can go to the Hustlers Jackpot. If you would like to follow my business page on Instagram, you can go to @the Hustlers Jackpot. And if you would like to go to my personal page on Instagram, you can follow me @Cool Colas. Hope everybody has a good day. Hope everybody got a chance to learn something from this video, and hopefully you're out there being yourself and not being anybody else. With that being said, I will see you guys later. Keep hustling.